first off, James here from Marketing Secrets for Electricians, and Andrew, thanks for jumping on, and even with all the technical difficulties, let's get into this. So we're looking at kind of how to run a successful electrical business. That's kind of the topic, and hopefully you can share some insight and stories as to what you've been doing, why you've been in electrical business, and so first off, share something about you, like so people know who you are, where you're from, that type of thing.
Oh, you've just cut out.
Is it working?
I just lost the end of that. That's all.
Okay, so you just share like
I just missed the end of that.
Yeah, you just share where you're based, because everyone from around the world essentially listens to this. So share where you're based and kind of a bit about your background in the electrical industry or your business or something like that.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so yeah, Andrew Sly here from Sly Electrical Solutions. I'm the owner of that business and been operating since 2014 around Geelong area in Victoria, Australia. First off, I guess what led me to start my own business, probably it wasn't so much by choice. It was I was working for a large company on a project that had an end date, and there was about 100 of us there, and we all knew it had an end date, and it came to an end. I got redundant, and at the same time, there were a couple of industrial sectors that got shut down around Geelong, one being Ford factory, the other was Alcoa, an aluminium smelter.
Yeah.
So I was up against other electricians who were predominantly in the industrial sector, but all these people were out of work, and the way I saw it, the fastest way for me to get some work would be to invest a little bit of that redundancy money into starting my own business. And I did that. It took a long time for me to get traction. It actually took a very long time for me to even realize what I was wanting to do or even what I was doing. Sure. The first thing I found was there was a contract to install the NBN, so I just went, yep, there's some regular work, I'll grab that, run with it, see what I can sort of make of it.
So that got you going. That was the contract that kicked you off. Yeah,
it kicked me off. Yeah, it got me going. It was a good little stepping stone, learning curve. Got my name out there a bit, as well, just sort of around the local area, because I was used to travelling all over the state, for probably 5 years prior to that.
Okay.
We were working on on one of the power networks. We're upgrading all their electricity meters. So yeah, from pretty much fresh out of my apprenticeship till that project ended, I was sort of changing electricity meters, and kind of worked my way up young. Got to learn a lot about how to deal with people. Because
that's an important factor, especially running your own business.
Definitely is. So I've got that to thank. I think the network being Powercore, who look after Western Victoria, and the City Power. They're both under the one umbrella. They had really good training and customer service skill training and that sort of thing. So I really feel that that's stuck with me from a young age, and it's something that I use every day. And I think that's one absolute must if you are to run a successful business. You need to be good with people to a certain degree, at least.
Especially in small business, if it's you can't treat the customer like shit and expect them to keep coming back. Like in a bigger business, you might get that. Exactly. If you own the market share, I don't know what a big business is off the top of my head, but if you own the market share and they're forced to come back, maybe Telstra is a good example. They don't have the best customer service, and yet because they have the coverage, you have to keep going back.
That's right.
So cool.
I think maybe our little meeting here might be proof that someone's got a better network.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's how it works. So why, like, start like a deeper question maybe? Why do you do what you do? Is there like a underlining reason why you know, became an electrician or do the start of the business? Like you kind of were forced to go that way, but is there a deeper reason?
I think if I look back to my primary school days, there's those questions in you know in grade one or something, or what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think I was 7 when I said I wanted to be an electrician because I liked
Really?
tinkering with little toy cars. But
Yeah.
then after that, I wasn't sure. I knew I'd be hands on, sort of probably from early high school. Like I thought I wouldn't mind being a tradesman of some sort. A builder was probably what I lent to the
Or,
most, I'd
yeah.
say. But saying that, I always had a bit of an interest in you know being like electronics sort of things.
Yeah.
I was always messing around with little walkie talkies and stuff when I was a young tacker. Like, just playing with things, pulling remote
Investigating.
control cars apart, and just that sort of thing. But I think it probably didn't become an actual set in stone what I really wanted to do until I was into probably late year 10 at high school and trying to decide whether I wanted to do VCE or sort of look down the trades path. I think early year 10 was when I sort of said, all right, just to keep that open because I sort of was okay. It was not too bad at maths, and
Yeah.
I knew you had to be good at maths to become a sparky. So I sort of had that in the back of my mind. And then it wasn't long into year 11 I started doing work placement, or like 1 day a week, sort of every Friday with a had 12 blokes working for them, and they mainly did sort of new domestic builds and sort of some bigger, nicer domestic stuff. A lot of it was the volume build. We had a good variety of things though, but it was mainly new builds. So I got to learn a lot quick. And then at the end of that year in year 11, I got offered an apprenticeship, and I just stuck it out. The boss wasn't the best of the best. He's sort of. I think also guys that I worked with back then, everyone that worked at that company was great. The boss, I
So
think he just didn't know how to treat
what,
people.
that was my question. What made him a bad boss? Like,
Um, he he didn't have the best people skills.
yeah.
He could talk, but I just see him like swearing. Like like, don't get me wrong, he wasn't like aggressive or anything like that towards people, but I saw him treat the people pretty badly, and I
Yeah.
just looked at him and thought, "What are you doing, mate?" Like, he was pretty racist, and that was a massive thing for me. You don't do that. You can't say that. And he kind of, I don't know. I think he just bit the hand that fed him too many times.
Yeah.
But the
And
funny thing is,
was
everyone
that
who
was that
saw
like,
him,
was that to customers or was that to employees or both or just everybody?
both, both. So employees, I saw more of the way he treated them.
Yeah.
Just he'd get a bit aggro over little things. I mean, I can understand being stressed. I know that now, looking back. I know that
Yeah.
there's definitely some stress, especially with big, because when I was there was always at least 10 employees that were, apprentices or tradesmen.
Yep.
Sometimes 15 odd maybe. And they're all great people. Like, I can't say he was a horrible person, but I just what everyone who I went through my time with there, they're all working for themselves or working for someone else, but they've all obviously learned what not to do from seeing the way that this guy behaves sometimes. Like, so I think ultimately what happened was he lost a couple of bigger kind of customers, and I think it was off the back of just not kind of almost taking the piss. So what I'd say, he say the boss of this big building company wanted us to do work at his house. I think he charged him, just like way more than fair or whatever. I don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
The ins and outs, because I'm only an apprentice.
Oh, good.
But I just saw some things go south.
But the main thing, like, to distinguish, like, he was being a boss, and the way I see being a boss is like you're like telling people off, and you kind of demand and treat people like shit. Whereas a leader is more like someone who encourages you and works. Even every business is going to have problems. Yeah, you're going to run into problems. Full stop. So, but if you want to treat people like shit because of the problems, or you want to work with them through the problems, there's a different energy, different, relationship that develops from that, and people will follow you as a leader or as a boss. They're like, "Oh, you're an idiot."
Exactly, that's right. And I can take that right this moment, and I know that my two employees, they look at, I know they've got like a lot of respect for me because I don't boss them around. I lead or I help. I'm there to and treating them that way, that you're only going to get it back in return, where they're gonna want to come to work. They love their job. They say it to my face every day, like I've got the best job, or like we're always having a bit of a laugh or whatever. But when things need to get done, like
you can rely upon
them because exactly.
And with your customers, if you're treating them good, like if you're treating your employees good, that's gonna flow through to your customers too, because they're in front of your customers.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I reckon based on my customer service, and I can't exactly take credit for every single good review, but I've taught that to my team, and they kind of bring that part of the business into that customer's home, where I might not have much to do with that person, with that particular maybe one-off customer.
Yeah.
And it might turn out a 5-star Google review, and they'll call me back, the next day and say like how good of a job. I'll still follow up some of the time, but I just feel that a good leader, your principles and your morals can shine through your employees if you treat them the right way. And they give you the respect and they take it seriously at the same time. Like you got to find the balance. Like,
you need both. You also can't be that good of buddies with them that they don't listen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you still got to draw the line somewhere. Like,
exactly.
Do this. No, I'm not going to. Okay.
Like, I mean, I was like this morning, for example, I sort of had a few quotes to get on top of, and I messaged the client. I hadn't met her yet, but I just said like, hey, Kate, like I'm gonna have to take an hour or two to myself this morning. My electrician Zach and apprentice Luca, they'll be taking care of the job to start with, and I'll pop past later on. And she was rapt that I'd let her know. When I got there, she was rapt because she was wanting me to quote some additional works as well.
Cool.
On site. And she was said how good of a job they did, and she couldn't be happier and all that stuff. So I think that's the proofs right there that like you can instill that instill all your sort of your what you stand for as a business and as a person even in the people that work for you, because if you do it the right way. But if you're treating them bad, then they're just gonna resist.
Also, they're not going to stick around.
Butt heads.
Like
they're going to be saying, how do we find a way out of here? I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
Which when I was in the hiring process, I could tell a few blokes were like that called about the job.
Yep. Definitely. There's
Um,
definitely
yeah, I thought I don't want to be that business.
That's yeah. So you want to be the business where your electricians want to hang around, want to stay for the long term. And when I was doing it, I had a couple guys who were there, and they were good, but they were that good that they wanted to start their own business, and they went on to do that, which was good. So it's also, they were with me for a year or so, but it was also good to see, them do their own thing, but bad as well because it's like, oh, there goes my good employee.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that definitely.
It's
I could already see that. I'd be, I'd be happy for him, but I'd be sort of like, damn,
mm-hmm.
there goes a damn good employee.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, it's some people like maybe have that more entrepreneurial, wanting or longing, and then there's other people who don't want that, like they don't have that drive. They're just like, I want to be a good employee, and maybe that's something, I don't know how, but maybe you could filter that out. Just thinking out loud, yeah, you could filter that out somehow in the process of like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to start your own business? Not asking them directly, maybe, but just, hey, you want to start your own business, or you're just looking to, you enjoy your trade, and we want to focus you and train you up and teach you technical stuff. And if they're leaning toward technical stuff, maybe they're more going to stay longer. Just a theory.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've sort of been giving tips from a few different people, like to ask them sort of left of field questions when you in that interview process.
Yep.
And one of them I like, you ask if you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? I think that's a really good character, a good way to read a character. Yeah,
That's
if
actually
they're going, I'd buy a Ferrari.
I would never.
You can tell if they're reckless or they're. Yeah, so I asked that, and straight away it was sort of, you could see them start to think, and they go, oh, like I'd probably buy a property, and I'd give some to my mum, and
you can see the values they have.
That's what I mean. You can see that you can read them off a question like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they like blow it all on something, or they do something kind of smart with it, and that's a good character test, I think.
Yeah.
And that was thanks to Greg Allen from the Electricians success. For me, that was something he let me. Yeah, he sort of. That's what he recommended we do, and yeah, I thought that was great. And it is good. It's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you can find the right questions to disqualify them before you hire them, you'll save yourself a lot of headache. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what's your goal? So, like, where you are now, where do you want to go? What's your kind of goal for your business?
So, goal for my business is definitely be a good business, not a big business. Like, I don't mind if we grow more. So I'm still looking for a bit more growth.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to get out of hand where it loses that personal touch. Where, if there was 50 employees, not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with a company like that, but I just think that to me, it would. I'm sure if I was about the right way, if I had a big business, like I could instill the values in all the employees. But I think I want a good business. I don't want a huge business. I just want a business that works, but one that works for me as a person.
One that
something that I can
fits into you, and
that's
like,
right, yeah.
But it's like also like what I see is the bigger business, the bigger you go, the more structure you need. So like right now you're like 1 on 2 or 1 on 3, 1 on 4, 1 on 5, that kind of structure is okay. But if you go over, I don't know, a certain limit, then you need more rules because you step further back. And as you step further back, you need more rules so people know what to do because you no longer have that direct contact, especially if you get like you got a team of managers and then a team of like electricians and whatever. It's like, those supervisors or managers, whatever, they need to
Yeah,
instill your values instead of you. So it's a different ball game, different set of skills,
exactly.
really. But yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. But I mean, I'd like to be, I'd like to, because it's probably only the last probably couple of years that I've started to really see some good positive growth in my business. Where, before I was honed in on what I'm doing right now, which is, a general electrical contractor in my local area.
mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I was hopping around from contract to contract and filling in the gaps with little oh, little to medium sized jobs for a one man business, for local customers. Um, but yeah, I kind of think a lot of the early days of my business, it was like I don't I don't want to just rely on the phone ringing track and description to fall back on. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because I think I was a bit afraid of like the risk involved in waiting for the phone to ring and spending big dollars in advertising and it might not work. There was all those things, all those um, probably hang-ups that I had thinking the worst, but
So what
trying
got
to
you
play it
over
straight.
those hang-ups? Because they're good points. Yeah, everyone starting a business or in business is kind of probably thinking the same thing. What helped you get over that?
Well, I think it was probably one contract went belly up, and we were told with 2 days' notice that there's no more work until early next year, and this was the middle of the year. I actually went from I went from down in Victoria. Me and a mate who at the time was doing a similar thing, like just contracting. Um, we went to Sydney for 6 months on a project, and that project the funding got cut. And we were told with 2 days that pack up and they sort of said there's enough work maybe for a couple of days a week, but all the other blokes lived in that area. Like we were sort of doing a bit of we were kind of doing a balancing act. We were working away, and we both had a wife and kids at home.
Yeah.
In Victoria, and we were flying home nearly every weekend to see the family, or we'd stay for a couple of weeks at a time and go home for a few more days, like 4 or 5 days or something like that, and go back and do it again. But I think when that happened, I just thought, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of basically being a glorified employee, but I'm working for myself and paying my own tax, paying my super. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying the money wasn't good. I believe that it's probably a really good place to start if you're looking to start your own business. If you can find a contract of some description, even if you work on it 3 days a week and target.
Yeah, it's like that
you know,
midpoint. So you still got something coming in, and you can start testing the
yeah,
water with your marketing and stuff for your own business.
yeah. Like I think for me, it was it was playing it safe. It was, I felt if I get a contract, if I start this project with this, bigger company that are looking for contractors or whatever, then I don't have to chase work and all that sort of stuff, and it's not going to be quite as stressful. Where you just, I think now looking back, it was probably more stressful, but just in a different way.
Okay. Well,
Like,
especially because you had one job, and if they cut the job, you're left with nothing. Whereas
yeah,
now you've
exactly.
got multiple jobs, and if one project fails or says no, you've still got others, so you don't you're literally not scrambling and have no work
Yeah,
whatsoever. So
exactly. So yeah, I think that's what pushed me to just go. No, I've had enough of this. I'm going home. I'm going to start. Basically start all over again. So,
yeah,
and this happened in the second half of 2017. So probably mid to late July wouldn't have been until then, until I started actually, looking for work locally again. Like, I dropped in to talk to people that I knew, like the local mechanic, because I, always looked after that, his workshop and his house, and got some good private customers around my local area.
Yep.
So I just put the word out that I was back and I was looking for work, and I studied to another local Sparky for a bit, just to help help fill in the gaps. And it wasn't long until I kind of just built on basically the basics, and that is a good friendly manner, a good polite tone of voice, approachable, flexible, offer solutions to the client as a person. Show interest in them as a person, because I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And
they're not just a
something
dollar.
I guess that's no, they're not, and that's what I like to make every customer feel like that, because in reality they aren't just a dollar. They're my backbone. They're the backbone of my business, because
100%.
if it wasn't for all those customers, I wouldn't have a business.
yeah, they add up, definitely. And on top of that,
they definitely do.
They share and talk about, if you do a good job, you treat them like a person, they'll go, hey, their friend needs an electrician, they'll recommend it. I've seen that numerous times.
Exactly. And that happens a lot. And it's just the easy things. Like, there's nothing hard about giving someone a little bit of time, having a bit of a chat to them. Like, those minutes, even though they're not, you may not be making how many ever dollars for those minutes. Those minutes will turn into dollars anyway. Probably in a
long run,
far greater way.
And that's, I think, a lot of contractors, they focus on the short term, like, just got to get that money and run to the next job and run. If you invest more time in the person you're in, that will pay dividends at some point in the future, especially if it's kind of like you're building the relationship. All business is built on relationship. Yeah. So if you can't build a relationship, all they've got to compare, and this is the other thing, all they got to compare with you is the price. If you're like $100 an hour and someone's 20, they're like, I don't know that guy, but that guy's $20. They're just going to go for the cheaper one because they've got nothing to, but if you've built the relationship, I've won numerous jobs because I had a relationship, even though I was more, the expensive electrician. They were like, we like you. We feel you're going to do a good job. We trust you, versus the other guys, like, I don't know, or seedy looking, and I don't know,
exactly.
But even,
yeah. No, but you're right. And that's exactly what we are. We're definitely not cheap. We're not the cheapest. But we're not the cheapest for a very good reason. It's because we make sure we do a very good job.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And
we need to be valuable.
Yes, you pay for what it's worth.
We do get. That's right. Like, we do get some people ask us to quote jobs, and they say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't think it was going to be that expensive." Not everyone. Not everyone's the same. Obviously, one person might think, that's too expensive, where other people might see the real value in the service we provide and say it's worth it because it's Andrew and the team. We want these guys to do our job.
And this is what I find in marketing. Like, if part of building the relationship, and what a lot of electricians don't do, is build a story. So by you sharing your story about your business, about you, about the relationship you have, you're building value. So you have more value. You actually have more tangible value, or perceived value to the customer, versus someone who they haven't met, and you know what I mean? So there's like this different, sharing our story, communicating with the customer either online or in person, we're like building that value, and you're connecting with them, and they're going to get more value, and they're going to feel more valuable, and they're going to feel like trustworthy, and all these good things from just talking. It's like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to talk. You need to ask them questions. If someone sends you a message on Facebook, let's say, I get how much to install a light. You know, if you just say, oh, we can do a down light for $180, full stop. That's just someone's asking for a price, you're giving it to him, and they're moving on to the next electrician.
Yeah, they can literally go 10 electricians. Okay, give me a price.
Yeah,
okay,
how much for a light?
Yeah.
But I read that message, how much for a light? Well, how long is a piece of string? You need to find out a bit more about this light the customer wants done, because how much for a light?
For
what
example,
does that mean?
For example, is the light in the shed which has no power?
Yeah.
That's going to be different to changing a light batten over or whatever. So,
yeah.
So what would you recommend instead of just giving them a price? Do you call them up? Do you have a conversation? What do you kind of do to help?
Let's just say that particular situation, if someone sends me a message, and whether it's a Facebook or a text saying, hi, my name's James. My friend gave me your number. How much for a light? I write back. I reply to that message and I say like, hey James, thanks for getting in touch with us. When you like, what were you hoping to have done with the light? Like, is it to be installed in A, B, or C? Is it to replace an existing light, or is it a new location?
You like open
you
up
ask the question.
Yeah.
So you open up that how much for a light with a number of questions, because you want to know more about what they want to do. So you're showing interest in this person that's looking for a price for a light, because you need to know more about it, because you can't give a price unless you know more about it. So if you ask questions, it gets the client thinking a bit more. Like, oh, okay, so it must be different if he's got to run a cable. So that's a completely different job. Oh, okay, this guy's thinking ahead.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing. Customers don't realize how much work something may be. They're like, I want this here, and to them it's like it's a simple thing, but realistically it might be a bigger job for whatever reason, and you don't know unless you have that conversation. So that's
exactly if you don't ask the questions.
Yeah, exactly. You need to ask to find out more, to build a relationship, and to just help the customer more. That at the end of the day, you're trying to help them. So and agree, and then agree upon, okay, this is a fair price that we both agree upon. Once you've figured out exactly what they're actually asking for.
Yeah, exactly right.
Cool. So so when running your business, what's kind of your worst moment or a bad story or something you can share where you're like, shit, I wish that didn't happen?
I'll tell you what, I've got a really bad story, but at the end of it, for me, this was my moment that made my business absolutely do a 180 and start to go like this.
Cool.
So it was so I'd been really busy. This is probably I would have been mid-September last year, so 2019, mid-September. My brother's a musician and he plays in a band. So he's in the States at the moment, because his wife's from there. So what happened was, one weekend, it was my brother's wedding, his bucks night on the Friday and his wedding on the Sunday, because his wife had to go home because she was pregnant with their second baby.
Yeah.
And then my brother, his aim was to follow her, and his less than 1 year old son move over there. But yeah, so there was that weekend, right? So it was a pretty big weekend, but I was buggered from a really big few weeks at work. That was a really tiring weekend, because there was a Friday night, bucks do, and then Sunday there was a wedding. So, and then the next week straight back into running my own business, and I was, really busy. Before all of this, this is leading up to something, but before this, going back a while, I won a double pass to the Master Electricians conference in Hong Kong. I just replied to an email why I'd like to join them, and yeah, I won, and I was stoked. So that was booked for last week. Oh, well, it was actually the week that led up to grand final day, AFL grand final day. So yeah, I was sort of meant to be leaving for Hong Kong on early on the Monday morning.
Yep.
And I gave the second pass to a guy that I'm mates with from Brisbane, Mick McCullough. Shout out if you're listening, brother. He's a good bloke. Anyway, my brother plays in a band, so it was the weekend after the wedding, and I knew it was going to be the band's last live performance at a local pub. And I thought, you know what, I'm going. I'm absolutely knackered. I don't feel like drinking. Not a big drinker anyway. I'll just drive in. I'll watch the band play. I'll go home when they're finished. I'll be home before midnight. Anyway, so all of the bands following, they're all kind of mates and stuff. They were all really drunk, and they were kicking around this huge inflatable donut.
Yeah.
And it started off as a bit of fun, like it was just getting bounced around like a beach ball. Then it got a little bit out of hand, started getting kicked around and flung around, and it was hitting people in the head and knocking them over onto the floor. It was breaking glasses, it was knocking tables over.
It's a bit wild.
Me being the sober one, I was just trying to remove that donut from the situation and sort of, let's watch the band.
Yeah.
So I did that a few times. I hung it up over the stage off the rafters and things like that, and it came back a couple of times. And then I thought, nah, I'm gonna pop it, or it's just gonna wreak havoc. So what I did, I leaned on it, sort of trying to pop it, and all of a sudden I got lifted up, and I was above people's heads, half on this donut, sideways.
Yeah.
And then they've dropped me. I've gone over backwards. I've landed on kind of my hip side. And I actually fractured a vertebrae. My L3 vertebrae was fractured from top to bottom. So there's the vertebrae, the two little bits that your muscle comes off and attaches down to your hip.
Yeah.
The right one of those little bits of bone was fractured right through from top to bottom. I knew something wasn't right when I stood up, but I was sort of like, oh, geez, that hurts. And yeah, I just thought,
It didn't click like something was down. It's just like you bruised yourself or something.
I think I was in a bit of shock from the fall, I guess. And I knew something wasn't right when I stood up, but I didn't, obviously, I was in pain, but I hung around for a bit, and people who saw me fall, were like, shit, you okay? Sit down, here's a glass of water. I hadn't touched a drop of alcohol at all.
Yeah.
And so then that was on a Saturday night. The Sunday, I thought, shit, this is bad. I hardly got any sleep from the pain. I went to see a doctor just down at the local, where my regular doctor is, but I couldn't get in to see him. So it was basically, do I go to hospital or not? That was my question. I said, I'm in pain, but I don't really want to go to hospital because I don't want to be stuck there for 9 hours waiting in a waiting room or whatever. But anyway, yeah. So I took the Monday off hoping to see my regular doctor. I couldn't get in, so I just sort of made some calls trying to get some mates that run their own businesses around the local area to give me a helping hand for the week.
Yep.
Or at least that day, or just whatever they could do. I couldn't get anyone because everyone was pretty busy, so I had to shuffle some things. And then the Tuesday afternoon was when I could go and see my doctor, and then so basically Tuesday morning I was in a roof after I'd fractured my lower back on the Saturday night, and I was screaming in that roof in pain, but I just had to do it because I couldn't get anyone to do the work for me. Yep. And I thought, God, this is rough. So yeah, I went and got a scan on the Wednesday morning. went back to work sort of after the scan and just did a few little things, and I'd gotten rid of a few bigger jobs, saying hurt myself. I'll have to reschedule with you. Sorry.
Yep.
Then on the Friday afternoon, I was doing a switchboard upgrade, and the lovely old couple that were there, sort of, I told them that I'd hurt myself, and I'm waiting to hear what I've done to my back. And here's me thinking I might have, sort of done some ligament damages, or pulled some muscle or whatever. My doctor called me while I was halfway through that switchboard upgrade, asking how my pain was. And that's when he told me, you've got a big crack down one side of your vertebrae. And I said, okay, I'll finish this switchboard and go home. I had to like a old light to replace inside, and I said to them, look, I've just been told by my doctor I've actually got a fracture in my spine, so I've got to go.
That takes
I went and saw
priority.
him, and just sort of put a little bit of putting myself first there, maybe. So that kind of hit home. I saw the scan; it was like pretty bad, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to Hong Kong on Monday, and that's exactly what I did. I got on a plane to Hong Kong on the Monday. I left home at 2 a.m. to go to the airport, and I jumped on the plane, and I flew to Hong Kong a week after I fractured my lower vertebrae in my lower back.
Yeah.
Word travelled fast. The people there, a lot of people there were like, "Oh, you're the guy that's got a broken back and you still came." And I'm like, "Yeah, I won a trip here. I'm not giving that up. Like, I can still walk. It just hurts a little bit." So in a way, that's probably one of the worst things. It's one of the worst injuries I've ever had, and probably what followed when I got back from Hong Kong was probably one of the worst things that has ever happened to me.
So that was just leading up to the worst thing.
That's just the lead up. The broken back's probably the cause of the rest of the bad. I mean, that was a pretty rough thing to happen.
Sure.
And I guess it kind of proved to me that I could push through, because if I was employed and I broke my back, I wouldn't have worked for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a choice. I had work to be done. I had a family to feed. It was me and my work experience kid that I was already kind of, hoping to put on as an apprentice. I was sort of lucky when I got back from Hong Kong. He was on school holiday, so he could help out a bit, and I lightened my load with jobs. But anyway, I went straight back to work when I got home. Like, I got back to Melbourne on the Sunday morning.
So were you in pain the whole time?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, I was given painkillers and that sort of thing, and I had to have them because of how much pain I was in, obviously. But I was looked after by like a awesome sort of bunch of people in that Master Electrician Australia family. From right up the top to everyone there, just a great bunch of people, and it was awesome to get to know all of them over there. And it kind of proved like that there's lots of good people out there. Not that I didn't have faith in that already, but so I basically pushed through for that. I pushed through for the work. I pushed through for my business, but I pushed a little bit too hard. And then it was probably maybe a few weeks after I got home from Hong Kong, I realised how run down I was. And one day I just cracked. It was a Friday afternoon, and I just realised how slow I was, how tired I was, how much pain I was in, because I didn't want to take painkillers and go to work, because you need to be thinking, I can't drive on painkillers and I can't do electrical work on painkillers. So no painkillers. I'm just going to work. But it kind of hit home that this is horrible. I just felt broken. I kind of think it was a mini breakdown, if you like. I don't know if you'd call it that, but I kind of was, I was just,
Turning point.
just absolutely stretched beyond repair. And yeah, that I'd already started to get the ball rolling with hiring an A grade amongst all of this.
Yep.
So I think I put the ad out. It would have been the week I got back or the week after I got back from Hong Kong because I thought, nah, look, I need someone, I need an employee, and I'm ready to do it. And I mean, I wouldn't have made that decision without this this incident. I probably would have just kept. If I didn't break my back, the way I said is, I would have been. I still would have been umming and ahhing at him for a time.
Yep.
Trading. I think I would have been working myself ragged. I would have been trying to, do everything. I probably would have put my apprentice on, and it would have been me and him. And then, I know eventually I would have employed someone, but I think this gave me the push I needed, and it let me step back a little bit, and let someone take the reins of the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to heal my back and heal my worn out mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from there, that's where my business changed into a obviously I found the right employees. But yeah, that it's just, I find that's the thing that caused me to make it a positive change in the business, was something so negative like breaking your back.
Yeah, definitely.
So
That's
I know it's a crazy story, and I sometimes go, oh yeah, when I broke my back, and I think, broke my back? Like what?
it's intense.
Still
Yeah.
think that? Like it still sounds nuts. And I mean, people I showed the scans to back, when it happened, were like, how are you still walking, mate? Like it was a decent fracture. So I think I count my lucky stars. I'm still here, and I'm still young and fit,
That's
fit-ish.
partly to your advantage, like that you were young when you broke it. Yeah.
Oh,
Otherwise, you would have been in
uh,
shit.
uh, yeah, but I'm talking, this was like 9 months ago.
Yeah, but still, like if you're like 60, you would be like,
Oh yeah, that'd be done.
yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I don't think a 60-year-old would be in the thick of a bunch of drunk.
You never know. Some people never grow up.
No, they don't. I'll tell you what, there's a few things that were said about that. Was, I bet you if I was drunk, I either wouldn't have tensed up when I fell, or I probably wouldn't have even fallen.
You'll never know. But yeah, that's
No, I'll
you,
never know.
you're more relaxed, I guess. So yeah, and that's where I've heard of people like, getting hit by a car, but because they were so relaxed, they just got up again.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, like that. I've heard that heaps, like car accidents and things like that. The people driving that were drunk, because they're all relaxed and like.
Yeah.
But then, they say if there's a car accident, the other car, that might be where someone gets like hurt or
Injured.
killed,
Exactly.
yeah, badly injured or killed. But I mean, that I guess probably was that's where my, aha moment came after all of this, was,
That's the silver
when I
lining.
saw.
You know how they say the silver lining of like a bad thing. That's definitely a silver lining.
Oh yeah,
A, you
for
survived.
sure.
B, you found an employee. Or
Yeah, and see,
chose to
I
find one.
still, yeah, and see, I still managed to, probably the one business that I've won in my life was a trip to Hong Kong. It was, yeah, really good for my business.
Yeah. So the actual trip to Hong Kong actually helped your business too.
Yeah, well, because I'm not sure if you know of Master Electricians Australia,
Yeah, I know
the
that.
organisation. Sort of, yeah. So like, basically, I'm, yeah, a member of that, of them, and it's just, yeah, you get to sort of network with other contractors, and there's people there that are, been in business for a very long time, and got lots of good insights and ideas. So Like
So
it was a thing where I was
network.
given a lot of tools from, yeah, like not only did I get to network with a lot of other electrical business owners,
Mhm.
I got to learn from them as well, and no matter where they were in their business journey, it was pretty good, and yeah, I made some pretty good connections with people over there, and yeah, still talk to them.
It was worth the trip then, even though you had a broken back. It was still worth traveling, going to the event, coming back. No, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yep,
So
I
like
knew it would
let's
have
so
been. That's why I went.
yeah, like, and that's even I've never won an event or anything where it's like, hey, here's a big thing, your dream holiday or your whatever the thing is. I've never won something like that, so that's cool in itself.
Yeah, yeah, no. So 2019 was pretty crazy for me. It was pretty crazy.
And I guess this year hasn't been any different with the corona and all this other stuff going on around the world. It's
Ah,
changing everything as we
exactly.
go.
I think
So
2019 was my warm up, maybe 2020.
warm up.
It's getting me ready. Yeah,
That's the thing about life. Yeah, you can't control what happens. You just have to roll with what happens and do the best we can with what we can control. You could choose to go on the trip or not. You could choose to hire an employee or not. So you made choices, and that got you in a better position effectively. So
that's right.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I
so
can't say breaking my back was the exact reason, but it was my choices for sure.
it gave you the motivation to make, instead of just sitting in the middle going, should I do this, should I do that, you're like, no, I'm doing this. It gave you that like focus to choose, like a reason to choose, almost like I need an employee, like I can't do this. So that's where, I don't know, the pain allows us the pleasure of a different choice, which then works out for the better.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's cool. Love that. I don't love that. It's a good story. It's don't love that. How is your back now?
You can love that story if you want. Like my back still it still needs attention.
Okay.
As in it needs strengthening and exercises, because if you have a bad back, if you sit still, it's not going to do it any good.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
But I mean, all considering, I'm going pretty well now.
But how long does
I
it take to heal? Like, is it a year or two, or like, what did the doctor say?
So basically the bone started healing. It probably would have been about 3 to 4 months after the fracture. It started showing signs that the bone was fusing back together.
Okay.
I think my body, it had a bit of a bit of kickback effect on the other side, on my left side. I was guarding that right side, and I had to do a fair bit of physio and like that sort of stuff to retrain my body to balance itself again.
Yep.
And I mean it's I got told when I did it was a 6-month heal, but you're probably going to need to go easy for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm always sort of mindful of what I'm doing and always using the right method.
You got to take it easy. You don't want to do it where you push it to a point where you can't recover. Yeah, then you're screwed. So
exactly. Yeah. So I've got to stay on top of it, but it's like anything, It's like if you go running, you it's a workout. So you're sort of doing that to to better yourself or better your body. So that's sort of, I still have to care for that back, but like, and it still does give me grief, especially sort of, I've noticed, because this is the first winter that after I've done it, that those first few really cold days, I could feel that bit of a achy, really really dull ache in that really localized spot where the break was.
Okay.
So I mean, it's probably it is probably going to feel that I'll have for the rest of my life, but I guess it's a scar.
Scar. But it's like you're taking steps to work with it, and if you continue upon that path of like taking steps to heal the body or the back, whatever, you're going to be a stronger person. At the end of the day, you'll be a stronger person after 5 years of doing this thing than you would have been had you not. So
yeah, exactly.
there's good in it. But let's go to the next question. And what makes a successful electrical company? Like, what have you found works for you, and have you like had another aha moment for that or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I could say I've had a fair few mini ones.
Cool.
I'm always looking at little ways to just, make the process of, a customer contacting you to the end of one job, which to me, that's the start of the new relationship with this client.
Yeah.
Just I guess they're probably all just really minor things, like just the way you've got your email templates worded, and just little fiddly bits like that.
So
I
just on
think
the
the successful,
email templates, that's one thing. Like you've got a template to send out to your customers, so you don't.
yeah. So what I reckon makes a good business, a good successful business, is a really good job management software.
Yep.
Knowing your numbers, you need to know your profit and loss and what you're worth. You need to really, really know them. If you don't know them, you don't know what
You don't know
you're
where you are.
heading for.
Yeah.
You don't know what your goal is.
Mhm.
You don't know if you're losing money or making money. You need to really know those things. If you don't know those things, then
You're in shit.
I'd suggest you get to know them pretty damn quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think those things being very organised, being proactive, being as we spoke about earlier, being approachable and flexible, and not get sort of shitty with people if they want to change, or they ask you if you can do this as well on top of this and this. You welcome all of that. You need to. If you don't welcome that, it's not going to work well for you as a business if
Yeah.
you start headbutting these people who are asking you to do things for them, because that's what you're there to do.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You're
I
there,
think
there to help.
it's the basics. It really is the basics that makes a good business. At the end of the day, good old fashioned manners.
Can take
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
just
definitely can take you
with
a lot further. Is there a software or a system that you use or would recommend for others to try out?
So I'd say one of them for sure would be a task management app, or program, and it's Asana. So
Okay.
it's basically you can create projects, you can create tasks within those projects. You can organize tasks across a few different projects. I've got mine, 25 tasks set every day, and it's my way of dumping all that information that's in the brain about work, because you'll never switch off if
You
you
need
let
to
your brain dump all that stuff.
get it out of your
Yeah,
head.
if you could write it down on paper, you could put it in your diary, but I just find that this little app, and that's again thanks to the Electrician Success Academy for pointing me in the right direction. But the Asana app is very good for assigning tasks to yourself, assigning tasks to your staff, to your wife, whoever.
Yeah.
You can set up a task for management within the business, so you can put your processes in that section and have a numbered dot point, how you would do a certain
Task.
process.
Mm-hmm.
So you could send that list to someone and they could do it the exact way you would.
Cool. That's
So
that.
yeah, Asana.
Yep.
We use ServiceMate for our job management system.
So you
I
don't. So you
find,
use Asana and ServiceMate differently.
yeah, for different reasons. So ServiceMate's purely, it's got all the jobs, it's got all the job details, the invoicing, the you know, what's needed at the job. It's got the invoicing, the quoting, the time, you know, time tracker, so you check in and out of jobs. You can add your materials, like your wholesaler invoices, to the job, like in the diary. You take photos on the job.
Helps you be organized versus...
It does. And it helps you be able to have repeat clients already in your database. So if someone calls up and says, oh, you know, you already know, because that's another key thing I'd suggest, is saving all your clients' names in your phone. So next time they call you, say, oh, how you going, James? And they go, oh, wow, he remembers me. That's another small thing.
That's a big, small thing. Like, a person's name is huge. Yeah? Like, that's the number one thing they like to hear. And
of course,
if they're calling you and you're like, hey, how you going, James or Andrew or whatever, they're like, I can see that being like, this guy remembers me, I'm going to remember that. You know, they will remember you more. So that's cool. That's definitely.
And I guess that is something I missed earlier when I think that using the client, using anyone's name rather than mate or boy or whatever, like use their name. I've seen it before. So if you can use their name, it's a more formal way of speaking to someone. And I find that, you know, older generations, they look at younger people and think, you know, oh, you know, wow, that's really good that this young person has come to my home and he's got respect for me. He's not, you know, he's not calling me mate, or, you know, he's not swearing or any of that sort of stuff either. But yeah, I think people like being called by their name, and that's something that I always try and
remember to do.
Yeah.
And do you have so if you go to someone, I guess you already have it in the system. It's like, do you have a way to remember their name, or you kind of just already have it in your system, so you know before you go to the job, you're like, okay, this person is John, and you put it.
Yeah. Basically, that's it. So someone will call. They might say, "Oh, hi, Andrew. It's James here. I'm just looking to see if you could do some electrical work in my house." You know, what I do with ServiceMate is I'll send a link to their number as soon as I get that phone call. Like, if it's just I've never heard from them before.
Yep.
They'll get a text with a link on it. They'll fill out their details on a booking page, and when they submit that, it comes up in our system saying it's James from this, you know, blah blah blah, you know, and then from there, basically you've got the details that you need to send the quote, which is, you know, the address, the email, the, you know, job description, and obviously what it's going to cost them. But you've got that there. And then also another thing is with that diary is you can take photos and it timestamps them, and it puts your business name and your job number there and the date. So it's not for anything other than my reference, really. It might be, oh, you didn't do, you left the main switch off, but we took a photo, you know, at this time when we were leaving, and everything's turned on. We make sure we do that.
On that, like, it's like this reminds me of one job and why I did this. I did the same thing. I made them take photos because we had one guy who left a tile off the roof, or supposedly left a tile off the roof, but there's like multiple contractors that were working on the job, and apparently we were the last ones there, and he didn't. So basically what happened was someone left a tile off, we got the blame, and it was this whole insurance job where it poured down the next day, and it was like the whole kitchen roof basically fell in. So, and it was, you know, I was like, okay, we'll take responsibility, even though I can't prove it was or wasn't. But that made me go, okay, if you're on the roof and you take a tile off, just grab your phone, take a photo when you're done. So then I know that you did put the tiles back on and it's all clear. Just take 5 seconds, because then it proves that we did our part and it, you know, wasn't us. You know, it's definitely, and if you've got employees, that's like, did they do a good job? Like, did they do a good job on the switch? You can log in and you could go, hey, oh, yeah, that switchboard looks good. And you're like, no, you need to go back and like that doesn't look right or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I think those things are very important. They're not super important until you need them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, until you
Which
need them.
you don't know when you'll need them. You might need them the next day. You might need them a year later to remember what you did on the job the
Especially
next time if they want you back.
if someone, especially, let's say it's a year later, your memory is not going to be pristine of the job. And if they're like, hey, I asked for this, but you did this, or whatever the thing is, you've got evidence. Like you asked for one PowerPoint,
Yeah,
I gave you one, or I gave you two and someone's
yeah,
ripped the other one off. I don't know.
yeah. No, I think for me it's like, especially if it's to do with the switchboard. So, you know what condition it's in. It might, just a memory jog. Oh, that's right. I did those 3 lights for you in your house, in your the dining, living, and the kitchen area.
Yep.
They're sort of like, oh, cool. Like that was ages ago.
No, that's definitely like if you can remember stuff about the customer, about the job, it just helps. I don't know, the process and it makes more sense. Yeah, instead of relying upon your memory,
Yeah,
our memories aren't that great, especially if you're dealing with lots and lots and lots of jobs. Like you can't
exactly.
remember them all; it's impossible.
No, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's the whole point of all these systems. Like just having a, and I think the key to it is having your own way of doing it and making it work for you. As in, but you need to have good organisation in the business. As a business owner, you need to be organised and know.
And the bigger you go, the more you need it because your employees
Yeah,
are like,
well,
"What do I do?" And you don't,
yeah,
you need to guide them, and ideally, systems are a way to like guide them in that direction. So that's cool.
yeah, that's right, exactly right.
So
So even as a one-man crew, you do that.
you
Start now.
you start with the one-man crew because you build the system and then you handball it to one person and see where the fault. They kind of test the system and they kind of find all the faults.
Yeah,
You plug it in, and then then you go to the next one. That's my recommendation because I went from having like me to one guy, and I think I went to 3 or 4, and it just became a nightmare because I didn't fix the system. I just kind of went bigger. I was like, yeah, no, that's not cool.
yeah,
More stress than if you don't have the system, you have more stress. That's
oh
what
yeah.
I found. But that's cool. So what with what marketing do you do now that you could share that might help another electrical contractor? What's a marketing tip or trick that you use to help you get customers, keep customers? I don't know.
So I reckon ours is reviews. It's basically most of it is just reviews, whether it's Google, Facebook, um, or another platform. Like I'm not much on, I do a little bit of Facebook sort of things. I don't do paid advertising on Facebook because I've tested and measured that and found that for me that didn't work. Where there's other contractors in my local area that it works really well for. But
Cool.
I've done Google ads as well. That can work if you spend a bit of money, which is just like any marketing or advertising. But
Yeah, there's
I
always
think that the thing that blows all of the marketing platforms out of the water is word of mouth.
yeah,
And I think even when clients are looking up, electrician wherever, Melbourne, Geelong, electrician Geelong, there's lots of them here. They'll click on the ones that have lots of reviews, and if you read those reviews, even if you don't know the people that are writing the reviews, you can sort of gauge what people are saying about that business. So
yeah, totally.
I find that if we're asking our clients, would you mind doing a Google review?
You actually
Happy with our service,
ask them for that. Okay, can you do this for us?
Yeah, we ask them for that.
Oh, cool.
We have a link on our invoices too. Like, we'd really love to hear your feedback. Help share it with help others. Find
Yeah.
us. Find. Yeah.
But if you enjoyed our service, leave us a review. That's a way of showing thanks, because there's I think it's like 80% of people will nowadays go online and Google the company, and suss them out before making a purchase decision. So even if you've given a price, you've done all the work, they're still going to go, especially if they're younger, like the older generation, I don't know. They're definitely going to go online and go type in your company, Google, especially local. That'll come up and be like, you've got like 10 reviews and they're all good, or 10 reviews and they're all bad. That's definitely going to sway their decision. Like, okay, if it's all negative, I'm not going to touch this contractor.
Yeah, well, it's just like if you wanted to go somewhere to eat and it said, your food's horrible, whatever, you're not going to go there.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it's a bit ruthless, but if you do things right by people, they'll do the right thing by you. And the power of the not just review, but the power of word of mouth or other people's word is bigger than anything. You can pay, thousands of dollars in advertising. It doesn't mean it's gonna pay off. You've got to work hard to get these clients of yours working for you to get your name out there, because that's where most of the good business comes from. And
it's free too. Yeah, there's no
exactly.
It's like you just have to ask for it. It's not hard to ask, and then most people will watch. They'll go, "Oh, sure, no worries. I liked, and then
people will tell you to your face that they're very pleased with the job at the end of the job. And that's, you've earned that review if that customer's happy.
Exactly.
And they're telling you to your face. Yeah. They're gonna be really happy to recommend you online, or to friends, or both, or
I would add to this, and this is something I'm trying to lead with getting electricians to do, is, how you said they want to share, like they say, hey, you did a good job. Try and get a video recording of that and put that on your website or on Facebook, or because video is kind of the new way. It's like how people are consuming information. Hence why I'm doing this.
Oh yeah.
As well. But if electricians could finish the job and they're like, hey, you did a great job, blah blah blah, then you're like, okay, cool. Can we just get on a quick 5-second call? Get your phone, record it, and you capture them saying, hey, this guy came to my house, he did this job, and it was amazing, it was great, I enjoyed it, I'd recommend him. If you get that on camera, you get 10 of them. That's like huge. Yeah, you got 10, and those.
Yeah, that's massive.
Those, because I've talked to other people, and they're like, if you go on Yelp or some sites, they don't always trust those reviews, because you could get a bunch of your mates to go on and go,
oh, exactly,
this guy's great. But if you've got
you can see it.
Yeah, but if you've got a video, it's more real, more authentic, because it's harder to forge. Essentially, it's more trustworthy. Especially if it's on the job, you could go like, "Hey, I installed this light, and there it is, and here's the customer," and have some fun with it. That's haven't seen much of that.
No, love it. No, I haven't either. Although I did. That was one of my interview sort of pre-interview kind of things. Like the fun little challenge on my job ad was, call me, and then I'd have a chat to the person on the other end that was interested in the job, and the challenge was to send a short video just saying, hey, introduce yourself, say what you like to do or whatever. Like, doesn't have to be long, just 30 seconds, like, introduce yourself to me, and cool, and that's exactly what Zach did. And his video, straight away, I could just see that he was you can see he was a genuine guy.
And that's the other thing, like if you go on video, it tells you so much more than text and even images. Yeah, like you see if that person's a decent bloke or if they're just some scam artist or whatever. And it filters out people who you may not want, because they may not be, they may not go on camera. So like, I'm not going to bother. But if they really want the job, they'll do a 30.
That's right.
Like, easy.
Yeah, exactly. It did weed out a couple of people that didn't want the job that much. They were just like, oh well, yeah, no, don't want to do that.
And I think it also, like, people who aren't open, because video is kind of a new thing. Like it's not new, but it's kind of like in the trades, it's definitely a new, like it's still kind of, we haven't really taken full advantage of it. So it weeds out the people who are maybe more closed-minded and like not wanting to like in a young company, you need people who are willing to change and evolve and adapt as you grow. So I think that's also a good.
Yeah, that's right.
Sweet. So is there anyone you'd recommend to be featured next on this podcast?
Yeah, I would probably definitely have to say Mick McKellar from Spark Electrical and Air Conditioning Services in Brisbane.
Okay.
He's a good friend of mine. He's the friend I took to Hong Kong with the second pass.
Cool.
Yeah, his business journey is awesome to learn about. He's a really good guy. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So,
yeah. Well,
good to see. Yeah, good to see what he has to share, because he's another another growing business that's definitely doing things right.
Cool. No, thanks. That's great. So that's what I want. I want other electrical businesses, and I want to get us all working together on a bigger stage than like our own individual suburbs and that. So working together to essentially create a better electrical market, or we can learn from it. Other, like, no doubt, everyone's got something to share. Everyone's doing something unique, something different, and we can all learn from each other. So that's kind of cool. And if people want to connect with you or find out more about you, where would they go to kind of connect with you?
So you could look up slyelectrical.com.au. That's SLY. That is my surname. We're not sneaky. Or on Facebook page is Sly Electrical Solutions Proprietary Limited. So
if that could be actually
platforms would be a good,
like Sly Electrical. We're not sneaky. I don't know. It's kind of different, yeah.
Yeah. I just sort of called it Sly Electrical Solutions, solutions.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have good solutions.
Yeah, no, that's great. So yeah, like anything else you'd like to share? We've pretty much been talking for a while now.
No, I think we've been going for ages, haven't we?
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It's been good having you on, and yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.